Hi there, Belinda Kerr here from Recruitment Garage. I've had quite a few people ask me lately, when I'm growing my business, should I grow the business first and then plug in consultants, or do I plug the consultants in first and then grow the business around them? My view on this is really clear. Unless you have endless pots of money, build then hire. And here's why. Full-time employees are by far your number one cost, and until you have a significant period of increasing income each month, hold off on the hiring. Don't make the mistake of thinking that hiring a new employee will boost your cash flow. They will cost you more than they make in the short term. In fact, in the short to mid-term. You need to allow roughly double their salary to have them sit at a desk in the business to start with before they even make you 1 cent or 1 penny. And then you need to factor in the time it'll take you to set them up, and that'll likely decrease your billings as well if you're a producer for a certain amount of time. So for example, a new employee starts on a $60,000 base. Their cost of seat is around double that, so around 120,000. And then of course you've got any commissions on top of that, and also taking away any hit to your billings that may happen if you're getting them up and running, or if it's somebody else in the business and they're in a billing role, that will obviously impact their billings. But let's say in this example, it's a neat 120,000 cost per annum. So that's a cost of $30,000 in the first quarter that you're paying out against most likely very little or no cash in. Not billings, paid invoices for placements that your new hire has made. And then the second quarter, another 30,000 out of your pocket. So we're now 60,000 down across the business across the 6 months, and all going well, your new consultant is starting to bill. Let me illustrate this in a bit more detail for you in this graph. So we've got the blue line here is showing you the employee cost. The green line is showing you received cash. So not billed, this is actually into your bank account, because cash flow is what matters, not billings. You can bill as much as you like, but until the client pays you, there's not a lot of value for you. So I've made some assumptions here. I've assumed that the average placement fee is $12,000. We're looking at a perm example because that's much easier. It doesn't really matter. It can be temp margins as well. I've assumed that there's no refunds or replacements across this year for this consultant. I've assumed that the clients are paying within 4 weeks. Now, if you can get that many placements all paid in within 4 weeks, you're doing really well. So we've assumed that there's no debtor issues. I haven't included commission, and I'm assuming that this consultant actually starts billing from month 1. So in reality, every scenario is going to look a little bit different. And, I haven't factored in there whether they're experienced consultants, they need training, that type of thing. But you can make your own assumptions here to get a more relevant picture for your agency. I've assumed there's no hiccups. There's this person, they're on board, they're running, they haven't taken any holidays. They could start and then need to move overseas. They can get sick. There can be heavy new competition come into your market. There can be a slowing economy. But I've assumed in this example, nothing goes wrong. So they're costing you at least $120,000 for the year. And obviously you've got to factor in some commission on top of that at some point. So over that 12 months, they've cost you $120,000, or, if it's pounds, then change it down to pounds. And you've received into your bank account $132,000. So in a perfect scenario, you're only $12,000 in front. So if you factor in to this equation that the average tenure of a recruitment consultant is anywhere around 2 to 3 years, depending on what industry you're in, maybe more, maybe less, the investment that you're putting in upfront, and as I said before, the midterm, is quite substantial if they're not staying very long in your agency. And also, I don't know what the stats are now, but if you hire 3 consultants, it's very unlikely that all 3 of those will be still in your business in 2 to 3 years' time. So you need to factor that in as well. Standing out to great consultants and trainees, building a great business system that delivers you a predictable and scalable revenue is not only great for you, it's a great way to interest prospective recruiters or prospective consultants. So if potential consultants can see just how well your business is set up and how it's doing, and it's crystal clear to them as to how they can hit their targets with you, they will be far more likely to join you than your competitors. So, once you have a predictable and scalable business model in place, it's a much easier process to plug in, for want of a better term, the right people and, more importantly, keep them when your competitors are tapping them on the shoulder every month with new opportunities. And if they're good consultants, they will absolutely be getting hit up all the time. So if you add consultants too early as you're still trying to establish your business, they're far more vulnerable to being approached by your competitors. Confidence and cash flow. Unlikely words to put together, I guess, but what I'm referring to here is if you hire too soon, you may well put unwelcome pressure on yourself, and that is no good for anybody in the business. Start to ask yourself what would happen if there's a downturn. What would happen if the consultant leaves? Can the business bear that pressure then? How much does that leave you out of pocket? Are you vulnerable? Is there enough business coming in? Is the business strong enough to support another person, essentially? So ask yourself these 3 questions. What if they left? What can you offer over your competitors to not just hire people, or to not just to get people on board, but to keep them in your agency? And also, a really important thing, if people aren't performing, when do you part ways? It's very easy to give people chances and more chances. If people are doing really well, it's obvious that you want to keep them. If people are doing really badly, it's obvious to them and to you that they're in the wrong place. But there's this middle ground where you kind of live on hope that people will do a little bit better than they are at the moment. But while they're not, they're costing you business. So you need to decide where the parameters are around what people need to be billing to keep their seat in your business. So if they aren't performing as well as you'd hoped, what support are you going to give them, and where are you going to draw the line and let them go if you need to? And that very short video gives you my views on when I believe that you should start thinking about hiring people. This might come across a little bit negative. It's not meant to. It's just meant to open your eyes as to what the real costs are of hiring somebody in your business, and really when is the right time. Just so that you don't jump in too soon and you can make a valid argument for hiring a consultant and give them and you the very best chance of it working out for everybody. Thanks for watching this really short video, and I trust there was some value in there for you.